Hi everyone, I'm Megan, the MeowthVader, and I'm going to be very awkward for the next 5 minutes. Anyways, I participated in the Asian Readathon, which was hosted by Cindy from Read with Cindy, as well as Sandra from Got a Thing for Things, Chloe from Books with Chloe, Cav from X Reading Solace X, and Elias from Elias Reads. But I realized going through books that I've read in the past that I don't read a lot of authors of color, various authors of color, especially like Asian authors. I don't know why, I just don't. So I spent the entire month of May reading only books by Asian Pacific authors. So Chinese, Japanese, Korean, as well as like Iranian, Indian, Pakistani, like that. So thought I would share my wrap up for the Asian Readathon because I read a lot of books because I have really long commutes, and so I get through a really large amount of audiobooks. This is my notebook. So anyways, I have 9 books total that I read for the Asian Readathon because some of them were like multiple volumes in a series, and other ones were like I had to read the first one to get to the second one, or I had a day left anyway, so I figured why not read other things that went with it. So okay, so the first challenge was to read any book by an Asian author. So I've heard a lot of buzz about this particular book from everyone on BookTube. And the book is Shatter Me. Can we see that? Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi, who is Iranian American. And I also read the novella that went with it, so I counted like technically 2 books. But I counted that too, so Destroy Me, so it was Shatter Me and Destroy Me. And that was what I read for challenge number 1, which was read a book by any Asian author. I heard a lot of mixed things about it, like some people were like, oh my gosh, it's so great, and then some people thought it was terrible. I enjoyed it. It was kind of addicting, like once you started reading it, it was like, oh my god. I have thoughts on Warren and Adam. Adam was the other guy. There's like 2 guys, Warren and Adam. And Warner. Oh my god. Warner, not Warren. Warner and Adam. But I thought it was interesting. So I enjoyed it. Number 2 was to read a graphic novel featuring an Asian character or written by an Asian author. This one I chose Monstrous Volume 1 by Marjorie M. Liu and then illustrated by Sana Takeda. I gave that one 4 stars. I gave Shatter Me 4 stars as well. I don't know if I said that. So I gave this one 4 stars, and it is written by an author of Chinese descent, then illustrated by a Japanese illustrator. So it took me a bit to get into it. Like, I was just like, oh, I don't know. It's really weird. Like, it throws you in to, like, the middle of a story, even though it's the first volume. So I got really confused and was like, am I forgetting something? What's going on? But as you got into it, like, you unraveled the backstory. So it ended up being pretty cool. And the artwork is, like, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So I really liked it. The third thing I read is 2 books. I read The Kiss Quotient and The Bride Test by Helen Wang. And these are about Vietnamese people in America, like half Viet or full Viet people, but in America. And I've read The Kiss Quotient before, so I didn't really like count that as one, but I wanted to read it before reading The Bride Test because I just really liked it. It was like a 5-star read. The Bride Test was also a 5-star read. And it's about So the Kiss Quotient, I'm sure you've heard about it because everyone hears about it, is about a woman with Asperger's who hires a male escort to teach her how to be in relationships. And then the Bride Test is about the cousin of the guy who has autism named Kai. And his mom wants him to get married and he doesn't want to, so she goes to Vietnam to pick up a potential bride for him. And her name is, I think it's May. I know that she went by like Esme, so I think it's May. And it was really good. And it was a cute little love story, and there were parts of it where I was just like, I don't know about this. I don't want to give like any spoilers about it, but there were just some pieces that like didn't make sense to me. Like, she doesn't speak English super well, so if she heard something she didn't understand, she would like research it. And then she heard the word autism and decided not to research it, and I was just like, you've researched like everything else. Why is this the word that you don't research? So yeah, that was like the only thing that I was like, what is this? But anyways, the next thing I read, the next challenge was read a book by an Asian author in their native language. And I read Maid Sama. Nope. There you go. Maid Sama. I read volumes 1, 2, and 3 because whenever I was kind of like bored on the bus, I would just upload it onto my phone. And ended up reading through 3 volumes. I watched the anime. It's a Japanese manga made into an anime. And I watched the anime before, and it was very cute and like little shoujo, cutesy, romantic, funny anime, so I thought the manga would be the same. It is. It's very cute. It's very fun to read. It's very light. It's very funny. It is made by Hiro Fujiwara, and I gave it 4 stars. All 3 were like consistent levels. It just continued the story. It was super cute. And then the last book is Read the Group Book, which was 1,000 Beginnings and Endings. I gave this 4.5 stars. I enjoyed most of the stories. If I'm going to be completely honest, I forgot what most of the stories were about. But one that like really stuck out to me, and was probably my favorite one, was, I think it was called The Land of the Morning Sun, and it was a Korean story about like a girl whose mother died suddenly, and like video games, and I'm very like close to my mom, and it was like the only story that made me cry. So I'm there listening to the audiobook, just like bawling, and it was very sweet. And I only really remember 2 stories, and it was that story, and then one about like an android. Like, I think it was like androids were like taking over the world, and so the people who invented the androids like stopped them. And like, I don't remember much about it. I just kind of remember that bit, and I think it's, I don't know, maybe I just like android stories? I don't know. I've only read Cinder, and I think that's a cyborg. It's not even an android, so I don't know why, but that one was like the only other one that stuck with me. But yeah, so I really liked the stories. Overall were very enjoyable. I liked the book, and that is altogether the 9 books that I read for the Asian Readathon. I will probably continue the Shatter Me series. I will probably continue Maid Sama because it's just cute and easy to read. I'm on the fence about continuing Monstrous. It's like, it's really gritty, and you get lost in it at times because it just kind of throws you in, and there's not a whole lot of backstory. Like, you're figuring out the backstory as the characters move through the world, but the art is gorgeous, so like that's a maybe. I will read anything Helen Huang does because her books are great. And like I've already read The Kiss Quotient twice, so obviously I like her stuff. And yeah, So this was a really fun experiment challenge that I did this month. I have 10 more books that I read from various Asian authors that I will talk about in my like May wrap up, but I read 19 books, which is excessive, but yeah. So that's it for today, and I will hopefully talk to y'all later. Hope you enjoyed.